Today I'm sharing 18 simple buttercream piping patterns straight from my former bakery's cake decorating book. With these designs, you can create a beautiful variety of cakes using just a few common piping tips. To make it easier, I've got free printable templates on my website that you can download and print and practice your piping skills. These templates are great for beginners, and we'll start with the easiest patterns and work our way up to the more advanced ones. I'm focusing on piping patterns today, but if you're interested in my other favorite cake designs like rosettes and textures, let me know in the comments below. You can find jump to links in the video description if you want to jump ahead to specific designs. So let's get started. Tape a piece of wax paper over your template on a table or a wall to practice your piping skills. Practicing over a table is easier, but piping on the wall will help you master piping on the sides of a cake. Once you've mastered tracing the templates on a piece of wax paper, you can move on to piping freehand using the patterns as a guide. Dot patterns are a great place to start for beginner cake decorators. I think polka dots are one of the easiest patterns since the dots are randomly placed, and you can cover any imperfections on your cake with an extra polka dot. Using larger tips, like sizes 10 or 12, makes it even easier. To flatten the top, bring your tip to the side as you release pressure. Or, what I prefer to do is to tap my finger in warm water and then gently press it on the dots to make an even flatter dot. For large symmetrical dots, start with vertical lines of dots 1.5 to 2 inches apart, using a 10 or 12 dot tip. Add a second line of dots in between these lines to create a diamond pattern. Polka daisies are similar to polka dots, but we create little 5-petal flowers with a dot center and dots in between the daisies. Line dots are like symmetrical dots, but without the middle dots, forming rows of dots. For small symmetrical dots, use a 3, 4, or 5 tip to create a more delicate version of our large symmetrical dot pattern. For scattered dots, use a small tip to create many tiny, randomly placed dots. This pattern looks fun and unique, but it takes a lot of time to cover an entire cake with that many dots. So remember to take breaks and don't overfill your piping bag so that you don't put too much pressure on your hand. Swiss dots are like the symmetrical dots but in clumps of 3. Mini Swiss dots use a smaller tip with the dots closer together or touching. I think this pattern is perfect for baby showers and delicate cakes with fresh flowers. Swirls are a great next step after mastering dot patterns. They can be randomly placed, so you don't have to worry about keeping the swirls symmetrical. For classic swirls, pipe sideways S shapes, then attach little curls. Use a round 3 tip for delicate swirls or a 4 tip for larger swirls. To turn your swirls into vines and flowers, add little dot flowers next to your swirls, similar to how we made polka daisies. Then add leaves with a leaf tip. For S and C swirls, pipe a combination of S's and C's, both normal and backwards, either very close together or touching. This looks great with the larger tip, like a size 5. Floral patterns are beautiful on cakes for all occasions. For the abstract rose pattern, pipe a curly rose center surrounded by half-circle petals. Fill in space with simple leaves and swirls. Use the same color for the whole pattern, or you can do different colors for a variety. For the large abstract rose pattern, we'll pipe larger roses with repeated petals filling in all the space, without the leaves or vines from the previous pattern. House flowers were my bakery's favorite floral pattern. It's a combination of the abstract rose and a new 5-petal flower pattern. You'll repeat these 2 flowers with vines and leaves filling in the extra space. Lace patterns require more practice but are still great for beginners, especially if you use my free printable templates to start. The intricate lace pattern uses a small tip, either a 2 or a 3. It combines a 3-layer, 5-petal flower with dots encasing each petal and a simple 1-layer, 5-petal flower. You can use vines with little lace half circles to fill in the extra space, as well as more lace half circles on the bottom and tops of the cakes. The final step is to add delicate little dots in between the lace. Brush embroidery is a beautiful lace-like pattern. It looks more difficult than it is. First, we'll pipe our pattern and then use a paintbrush to delicately brush the buttercream into the cake. I have several small paintbrushes specifically for cakes that I wash in my dishwasher. Start by making simple wavy 5-petal flowers, making sure the petals do not touch the center of the flower. Use a larger tip so you have plenty of icing when you brush the flowers with the paintbrush. While the buttercream is still soft, take your small paintbrush and gently brush the buttercream down into the cake to create the brush effect. I recommend pausing to brush after piping each flower and leaf so that the icing doesn't firm up before brushing. Once you've finished the brush embroidered flowers and leaves, add delicate dot swirl vines to fill in some of the extra space. It resembles our swirls from the previous patterns, but it uses repeated dots to create the same effect. Scallops can create a beautiful pattern for flowers and little girl birthday or princess parties. Start the scallops with half circles coming down from the top of your cake on the sides. You can use a ruler to mark where you want your scallops to end up to ensure they are even. Once the scallops are piped, add a large dot in between each scallop and a medium dot under the middle of each scallop. Then fill in with tiny little dots coming down between the scallops. For lace scallops, you'll pipe delicate squiggles that don't touch each other inside the half circles and on top of the cake using a small 2 or 3 round tip. It takes practice, so for beginners, I recommend taping my template on the wall to get used to piping scallops on the sides of the cakes. I have all of these details listed out on my website at amycakesbakes.com, along with the free printable templates that you can download and print at home. I hope you enjoy using these piping patterns on your own cakes. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more bakery secrets and recipes. Thank you so much for watching.